Alrighty, so this tutorial is just going to quickly go over setting up the randomization for the facial animations and for the outfits. So we've got this structure here. This structure is included for all of the zombies, and anything you add or remove to this will automatically be included in the randomization pool. So all of these things are options for the zombies to spawn with, and some of these you probably don't want because I include the very clean versions of the clothes as well that are useful if you want to make your own variations, but for the sake of atmosphere, you'd probably want to remove those and just have some of your own custom variations in there as well. But there's a lot included by default to go with anyway. Okay, so most of the code that we want to keep is inside the Master Zombie AI blueprint, and there's a quick outline of this in the PDF documentation that goes through it, but I'll show you how to do it in the video as well. So with the zombie that I have here, this is the female zombie. She's got the breast physics in the hair. You'd have to copy this function over as well, but for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just going to skip past that one. But it's the same principle the whole way through. So we'll copy this from the construction script in the AI to whatever other AI or asset that you're trying to merge it with. This doesn't change the behavior of the zombie or anything like that. It only works with changing the skeletal meshes you include in your scene. So it's important you've got a zombie, a top, a bottom, and a hair. You'll need the 4 skeletal meshes here, and you'll see why in a minute. So I've just pasted this into the construction script, and instantly I lose my node. Okay, that's better. So we want to hook this up, and we just want to update some of this. So you can see by default some of this stuff has already recognized itself. We'll set the hair in. Now the mesh didn't have a reference, so we'll update that there with the SK zombie. And this is setting the master pose. So this is telling everything to combine into one, and I've got a tutorial on master pose. And now we need to go through, and probably the easiest way I guess is you can hit compile, and it's going to put an error next to everything that needs to be fixed up. So this is quite simple. Just go through, right click, create variable, right click, create variable. This one here, create variable, make sure it's the right struct, which will be this one here, and that will just work anyway by default. Again, we've got the mesh being referenced here. That's actually our SK zombie base. So you can see in the AI and other AIs you'll use, it'll probably have a similar setup there. So we'll do that too. And we've got one more mesh reference that we need to update. Very good. So now if we take out our new actor, put it into our scene, we should have a zombie, but we don't. Now what did I miss? Oh, of course, the randomize node. You have to check it to true. And when you check it to true, you'll see now on construction, the zombie will update every single time. And it's the exact same thing if you want to bring over the animation code. You just go to the animation, the event tick here, copy these functions, bring it over, create matching function. We'll hook this up, make sure the variables are the same. Now we need to copy them over for each one. Now again, it's a little bit messy, but this is all just some basic maths and some basic toggles, and it's more complicated for the eyes than anything else, and this will just make sure the eyes are moving left and right in sync and within the range that you set. So again, you're going to hit compile here. Things aren't going to work. Just go through, create the variables, update the mesh reference here. Sure we've got the right morph pose names. There we go. So once all of these are made, you want to go back through and make sure that the default values are set up in the same way for the main AI and for the AI that you're copying it to, and that's just going to make sure you get the intended behavior. Like if you forget to check the randomized note there, it's not going to actually run the randomized script. So that is how you set it up. Some of these things can be optimized. They don't need to run every single frame on tick. You can set a delay in there. But that's pretty much the gist of it. This will copy into anything. There's nothing fancy or special that it's changing. So it's just a matter of hooking it up, creating the variables, and you're good to go.